Hello, it's Saturday baseball, Saturday fantasy baseball, not just baseball. And you know how we do it here in the chat room? We like to wait until the live show comes through on our end so the chat room can be involved the whole time. So if you're listening on demand, you know the deal. 7 days a week, that's every single day. You could come to our chat room, Lenny Melnick, fantasysports.com/live, and you can find a live podcast at 9 a.m. where you can also be a part of our wonderful and amazing group of baseball family. We love it here. Everybody's welcome. No censorship here. We have a great time.
Stop it.
What?
Stop it with this. Go ahead.
Please don't sit there and tell me what I'm allowed to say.
All right, go ahead.
Because I could say anything I want, and that's part of it. All right, here we go. Now, the podcast has not come through yet, so let me make sure with Lenny what I could talk about next while we wait. What do you think, Lenny? What should we talk about?
Let's talk about the sound. Does the sound good?
No, the sound is not good. I could check myself. That's what I'm doing. Every day I do it. We're just waiting for the chat room to come through. And we will just wait. We never know. It could happen immediately. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it takes a while. And I apologize for this, but that's the way it is. And that's the way we do it. And right when we start, we will absolutely start talking about all of the people that are here today live and say hi to everybody. The chat room is going, but it's not coming through yet, so... What about Ohtani leaving the... All right, here we go. Sound is good. Sound is good, everybody. Now let's get started, everybody. All right, Danny Fuller. Yay for Danny Fuller. You get to talk about the Dodgers on their good days. You get to talk about the Dodgers on their bad days. Also in the chat room, Eddie Heckman. And Eddie... You said to me, don't forget to talk about the Yankees game last night, which was actually, in my opinion, the Orioles game, even though it did happen at Yankee Stadium. Today in our chat room is the official day of the Baltimore Orioles, who are excellent this year. They're going for it. I love it. And, this is my first show since the Angels decided to just tough it out and grab some pitching. I think the Angels are going to probably make some more moves by Tuesday deadline. Of course, this is a very exciting weekend in baseball, and I'd love to say hi to everybody in the chat room. Chris from Cambridge, Data Premier, Danny Fuller, Dr. Dennis Timko, Aiden Timko, Eddie Heckman, James K., Lenny, of course, who is already interacting. We've been up since 4:30, post 1958. Rotorius, SM King Turd Jr., Tito Luna, Unholy Toledo, accompanied by Rudy, Audrey, Molly, Tilly, and Scooter. Okay. Did I get everybody? Because I can't see.
You got them all.
And Jeter Luna.
And Jeter, there you go. You got them all.
We got them all.
Go.
All right. MLB attendance is up close to 9% this year. And this, if it continues going like this, it will be the biggest increase since 1998 in baseball attendance. That's exciting. Probably a lot of it has to do with just coming back from COVID, but it's just, first of all, it's exciting to see the attendance. But you have to say, why is the attendance so high? And I really do believe that this year we have some of the most exciting races going on, including some of the most exciting new youngsters coming up to baseball, and it's just a fun year for everybody that loves baseball. And I think that this Ohtani thing, now, I said this before the sound came through in the chat room, but Ohtani did leave yesterday with some leg cramps. They've been bothering him for a little while now. But the fact that the Angels kept Ohtani, they decided to go get Giolito, and it just makes baseball fun. The very next day, Ohtani comes out and just puts on the performance of a lifetime, and there is a reason to say that Ohtani is the best player that ever existed in baseball. So, it's exciting times. also, King Turd, yesterday, Ellie hit another triple. So, very much fun. And also, what a great day. We get to talk about the official chat room Orioles Day today. We're giving credit to the Orioles in the chat room today. I couldn't find a player that could get a Player of the Day honors, but the Orioles, what a fabulous year they're having. And that's it. David Robertson, he's the last active player to have a Yankees World Series ring, which means that the Yankees haven't won a World Series since 2009. I know, yes, Yankees fans everywhere will tell me that the Yankees have won the most World Series rings of any team in baseball, and then I scoff at them and I laugh at them because it hasn't happened for years, and even when they did it in 2009, there was a huge gap between the time they did it before that. So yeah, the Yankees throughout histories have the most rings, but things are changing here. Now, Ohtani's first 53 games through May 29th, he hit 12 home runs in 205 at-bats. That's an average of 1 home run every 17 at-bats. Now, get this. In his last 49 games, including his first 2 at-bats last night, he has 27 home runs in 179 at-bats. That's an average of 1 home run every 6.6 at-bats. So that this season, in his first 53 games, he hit 1 home run every 17 at-bats. Now he's hitting home runs every 6 at-bats. He's got 39 homers on the season. Over the last 50 years, the only American League players with more home runs before August are Aaron Judge last season and Ken Griffey Jr. in 1998. Wait, did they play at Oriole Park last night or at Yankee Stadium? Maybe. Why would you call it the Yankees game if they didn't play at Yankee Stadium?
I don't know. I'll have to check.
I'm asking in the chat room, and Eddie will tell me as soon as he hears the question. I'm not stopping. Don't worry. Please, lay off me.
All right. Whoa.
Jeez, you're just sitting over there spitting out things at me. Today is not your day. It is Saturday, Andrea Fantasy Baseball today.
Okay.
All right. Max Scherzer's unhappy with the Mets trading David Robertson. That's what he says. He says he's going to have a conversation with the Mets brass about their vision of organization moving forward. And also, I do know that we're going to talk about this a little bit more. We're also going to talk a little bit about Verlander and the possibilities of them trading Verlander. But Scherzer, he's got like $43 million guaranteed to him next year, and that's just impossible. Who in the world is going to trade for that? On Friday, which is yesterday, there was a walk-off grand slam in extra innings, a walk-off home run in a 1-0 win, and a potential walk-off home run robbed. It's the first time in MLB history that those 3 things have occurred on the same day. And you want to know who got the walk-off grand slam in extra innings? Bobby Witt Jr. You want to know who got a walk-off home run in a 1-0 win? Your boy, Anthony Santander. And you want to know who got a potential walk-off home run robbed? Actually, it was robbed by Mike Tauchman. I don't know who was hitting it, but we'll discuss it. It'll come up in the game notes for sure. The Rays, in their first 20 games, 141 runs. They were 17-3. Their last 20 games, 66 runs, and they're 5-15. So the Rays, geez, they just dropped off the face of the earth for sure. King Turd says he definitely wouldn't take Scherzer under any scenario if he was the manager of a team.
Zelmo's here.
Hello, Zelmo. Tony. Who?
Methical, Big Al.
Methical. Nice to see you, Methical. Big Al. Next Met game, you will be present, sitting next to me, drinking beers with me. Big Al on the prowl. All right. So Eddie Heckman did say that they played at Oriole Park. It's just that he didn't want to give anything away about what happened, so he called it the Yankees game. Okay. Don't confuse me, Eddie. All right, yesterday, the trade yesterday. These poor White Sox. I mean, well, look, they face reality. That's how it works. The Dodgers receive, hey, Danny, how do you feel about this trade, huh? Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly go to the Dodgers, and the White Sox receive Double-A starting pitcher Nick Nastrini, Double-A reliever Jordan Leisure, and outfielder Trace Thompson, who actually was originally drafted by the White Sox. The Dodgers addressed a need at shortstop by getting the player with the worst defensive metrics at the position. That's Ahmed Rosario. They addressed a need for starting pitcher by acquiring the pitcher with the highest ERA among qualified starters. Now, the Dodgers have added Kiki Hernandez, Ahmed Rosario, Lance Lynn, and Joe Kelly, which makes me so happy because you know me. I'm not a fan of the Dodgers, and I love to... Why did they do this, Danny? Explain to me, as a Dodgers fan, how this trade makes you feel. This trade deadline has been total junk for the Dodgers. They, like I said, they trade for the worst defensive shortstop in baseball. They trade for Lance Lynn, who's way past his prime. He's got something... I mean, yeah... they traded away. All right, here's the thing. The White Sox have traded 5 pitchers since Wednesday night. They've traded Lucas Giolito, Reynaldo Lopez to the Angels, Lance Lynn and Joe Kelly to the Dodgers, and they also traded now Kendall Graveman to Houston. I told you this was going to be an exciting weekend. Lenny told you again yesterday. It's very much fun, the trade deadline coming up, and we all like to... Well, I think mostly we like to talk about trades that have happened. Lenny likes to project trades and predict trades and all these rumors, but I really like to talk about them after they happen.
Triple play.
They got rid of Noah Syndergaard with a 7.16 ERA, and they replace him with Lance Lynn, who has a 6.47 ERA. So, Danny feels terrible. Okay, if you were here, I'd give you a hug, okay? Because you deserve it for feeling this bad. Dodgers' Dave Roberts said Ahmed Rosario will ease into playing second base and center field also, as well as shortstop, which if you have Ahmed Rosario on your fantasy team is great because it will give him all that position eligibility. And maybe he already has it. Dodgers' Clayton Kershaw is expected to throw to hitters in a sim game today, and Dave Roberts says after that there will be a conversation about what's next, but we do think that an activation from the injured list will happen late next week. Good. Kershaw back. That's good. Good for you too, Danny. Dodger voodoo magic will make this a major win. It could. It really could. Tom Johnson says that he still can't believe Mad Max is making $45 million. That's just way too much money for a pitcher. That's true. Especially one who's not even in his prime. Joe Kelly is actually a pretty solid addition for the Dodgers bullpen. He has a club option next year, 32% strikeout rate, career high, a 22.7 strikeout to walk ratio, a career high, and a 3.23 xERA and a 3.08 xFIP. Joe Kelly's always been a good bullpen guy no matter where he's been. I remember rooting for him when he was a Cardinal. The Dodgers have allowed 27 runs in the... Plug your ears, Danny. Plug your ears. The Dodgers have allowed 27 runs in the first 4 games of their current homestand. They've trailed by multiple runs at some point in each game, and they needed a 4-run 9th-inning rally for their only win in the 4 games. They've given up 27 runs, at least 6 in each game. They have lost 3 of 4. Now, we talk about Walker Buehler a little bit. He is throwing full bullpen session down in Arizona, but he is not thrown to hitters, and it's too soon to say whether Buehler will meet his September 1st return target. Now, I must make sure it's clear, this target of September 1st comes from Buehler himself and not from really the trainers or the coaches or the managers or anything. It's Buehler's target, September 1st. He wants to be back. We'll see. We don't have enough info yet. It's too early. Now, back to the White Sox. Is Daniel here? Daniel, if you're out there. The White Sox could... Try not to curse out spammers, Leonard, while I'm on the air. The White Sox could be major players in free agency this winter. They shedded about $25 million in their 3 trades. And also, Yasmani Grandal's $18.25 million salary is coming off the books after this season. So expect the White Sox to rebuild. Maybe they'll rebuild around Luis Robert or Eloy. But it's kind of hard when Eloy's hurt again. There was a pinch runner for him last night. So, yes, he's back in the games, but he's not at full capacity. You know, he never makes it 10 games straight without an injury, right, Laura? Is Laura here?
I didn't see her.
Well, the Dodgers general manager, Brandon Gomes, says that Walker... Oh, wait, we already talked about that.
Laura's there.
Hello, Laura. Hello, Mary. The Astros and White Sox made the trade of Kendall Graveman to Houston. They got back number 5 prospect in the Houston Astros organization, catcher Corey Lee. So that is interesting since we just told you that the White Sox are shedding Yasmani Grandal's $18.25 million after this season. Buehler, a good pickup for next year. I think you might be right. Good morning to you all. Chris from Cambridge, thanks for coming. Guest Alana, I think that's Boston Paul getting his car fixed today. Had a tornado last night in Wisconsin. They had to, in the middle of the night, they had to go underground to be safe from the tornado. Mariners are they're open to trading Paul Sewald, their closer. They're feeling that because this pitcher-hungry market, they could get a strong return for Sewald. He can't be a free agent until after next season, so they should be able to get a good amount. And also, the Mariners, we don't know for sure what they're doing at the trade deadline. This team and also the Arizona Diamondbacks are 2 teams that we don't really know which way they're going. They've been right around 500 all season, but that's for another tidbit. I'm getting off track. But the Mariners do feel that they have a bullpen deep enough to cover the loss of Sewald. He's probably at his highest trade value. Okay. The Cubbies. Yay, the Cubbies to Unholy Toledo and Doggies. The Cubbies win their 7th straight game. But are they rethinking their inclination to sell? They have a 7-game winning streak. Now, they are 504 out of the wild card spot. Cody Bellinger and Marcus Stroman, it doesn't matter, right, Unholy? They are on a good streak right now. They're 4 games out. The trade deadline is on Tuesday. But even with Marcus Stroman and Cody Bellinger, I'm pretty sure Unholy doesn't think they have a shot this year. So it's business. It's business. The Cubs are over 500 for the first time since May 6th. Also, Mark Feinsand of MLB.com reported late last night that a pair of... Okay, this is what he's reporting. That he was told by a couple executives of other clubs, okay, that's the source, a pair of executives with other clubs think there's a real chance the Mets will ultimately trade Verlander. Okay. They think the Mets will trade Verlander. Have they talked to the Mets? I don't know. These you got to pay attention to the sources here. The executives list the Rangers and the Astros as potential fits for Verlander. What do you think about that, King Turd? The Yankees reinstated Aaron Judge from the 10-day injured list. Yes, they did, and we will talk about him during the highlights. But they, once again, optioned Oswald Peraza to Triple-A. Boo for that. All right, you know the baseball world is turned upside down when the Marlins are buyers and the Mets are sellers, with the outfielders Tommy Pham and Mark Canha now expected to follow David Robertson out the door. That makes sense. King Turd loves the idea of the Rangers getting Verlander. Me too. Yes, I agree. Marco Vargas was the number 18 prospect in the Marlins system, and Ronald Hernandez was their 21 prospect. David Robertson was the best reliever on the market. That is arguable. However, How could they not do better than that in their return for David Robertson? They got the Marlins number 18 and 21 prospects. What do you think in the chat room? Did the Mets get ripped off when they traded away David Robertson, who, there's an argument to be made, is one of the best closers available at this trade deadline? Unholy says the Cubbies are too weak at the corners. What if they surprise somebody and just go ahead and get some kind of, decent defensive, not expensive, just a little bit, underrated corner? That could happen. Then I don't know. Ellie De La Cruz, the fastest home to third times in baseball. He's done it 3 times. He's got the top 3. He's ranked 1, 2, and 3 for the fastest from home to third base, and Corbin Carroll has the other 2, which are numbers 4 and 5. I just saw that tidbit on the TV because I love to watch quick pitch, and that's what we got on the TV. Back to the notes.
You're at the 20-minute mark.
Okay, well, I have a couple more things to say.
Yeah.
The Texas Rangers are aggressively pursuing closer Jordan Hicks. Also, the Yankees are interested in Jordan Hicks. Now, Jordan Hicks is a free agent at the end of the season and will be moved only if the Cardinals cannot sign him to a contract extensions before Tuesday. According to the insiders in St. Louis, there is no progress on an extension, and they are telling interested teams that there has been no progress. So it looks like Jordan Hicks is up for sale or trade. We don't like to sell people anymore, St. Louis Cardinal starter Miles Mikolas was suspended for 5 games for hitting Ian Happ last night. Also, real quick, Craig Mish from Florida Miami Marlins. He says that if Juan Soto is truly available, the Marlins would do everything in their power to acquire him. That's it. We got to go to the games. One more tidbit. It's amazing to think that with all of the talk this season about how bad the NL Central is, the Cubs' recent win streak makes it realistic that there could be 3 playoff teams coming out of the NL Central. The Miami Marlins beat Detroit. Lenny?
Yes.
What are you saying?
No, I'm talking about it. Just keep going. Don't listen to me.
Don't mumble over there, Leonard.
I'm sorry.
Just talk to the chat room. That's it.
Mumble.
Miami Marlins beat the Tigers 6-5. Maybe Lenny's getting back to me for all the times I mumble in the background when he's on air. Miami squandered an early 4-run lead, but they came back. They beat Detroit 6-5. Reese Olson matched a career-high 6 innings. He's a rookie. It was his 8th Major League start. He gave up 4 runs and 8 hits. He went against Braxton Garrett, who has not been doing great, but he limited Detroit to 1 unearned run and 5 hits over 6 innings. He struck out 6, walked 1, and hit Miguel Cabrera. Good outing for Braxton Garrett coming back. Brian De La Cruz homered and doubled and drove in 3 runs. It was his 14th homer. Now, John Birdie is hitting .556, and he's 15 for 27 in his last 9 games. Nick Maton hit a 2-run double. A.J. Puck got a 16th save, and David Robertson will join the club today. Jazz Chisholm did a full workout yesterday, and tonight you get to see Bo Brisk and Johnny Cueto. Whoop-de-doo. All right, here we go, Eddie. Santander homered off Tommy Conley in the 9th inning to give the Orioles a 1-0 victory over the Yankees. It spoiled Aaron Judge's return for the Yankees. Judge did walk 3 times in his first game back, but the Orioles kept New York off the scoreboard with a spectacular defensive effort. The Orioles, since it is official Orioles Day in our chat room, I will give them the credit where credit is due on their defense. Nobody talks about it a lot in fantasy circles, but let me tell you about this defense, okay? They're amazing. They remain 1.5 games ahead of Tampa Bay atop the American League East, and they now lead the last place Yankees by 9 games, all right? Each team had only 4 hits, but it's up to the defense to keep those runners from scoring, and the team that did it the best was clearly the Orioles. Grayson Rodriguez pitched 6 1/3. He went toe-to-toe with Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole went 7 innings. Felix Bautista struck out 2, scoreless ninth. Judge reached base 3 times. Anthony Volpe was robbed twice by the Baltimore defense. And New York eventually had 2 on and 2 out when Rizzo, his grounder, looked like it was headed to right field. And the only reason I bring up Rizzo's grounder is that he deserves the new nickname, okay? Eric Hosmer can hand over his nickname of Tap to the Rizzo because Rizzo can't tap it out of the infield, and that's why we called Hosmer that, and that's why we have now bestowed Rizzo with the nickname Tap. All right? Orioles general manager says it's no secret that the Orioles are working on potentially adding pitching upgrades at the trade deadline. He says the team has the wherewithal to make good baseball trades, even if it means adding payroll, which is an exciting thing to come out of the Orioles. He also said that he hopes Cedric Mullins and Aaron Hicks can return and play a large part of August. Go Orioles. Tonight you get to see Tyler Wells against Clark Schmidt. Kyle Schwarber broke out of a slump by hitting a 2-run home run and reaching base in all 5 plate appearances. Zach Wheeler struck out 11 in 6 2/3, and the Phillies beat the Pirates 2-1. The Phillies won for the 4th time in the last 5 games, and the Pirates have alternated wins and losses in their last 8 games. Wheeler gave up 1 run and 3 hits. He walked 1. He was winless in his previous 3 starts. He was removed after a 42-minute rain delay in the 7th inning. He's been working on altering his leg kick in his delivery, and he felt that played a role in his great outing. Pirates manager Derek Shelton had high praise for Wheeler, who improved to 4-0 in his career against Pittsburgh. Craig Kimbrell got his 17th save. Mitch Keller has lost all 3 starts since he pitched in the All-Star game on July 11th. He still made it 5 2/3, 2 runs, 6 hits. He struck out 8 and walked 3. It was Schwarber's 27th homer of the season. He came in the game 1 for 22 in his previous 7 games. He also doubled and walked 3 times. Amazing. Bryson Stott had 2 hits. G-Man Choi hit a run-scoring double. The Pirates recalled Josh Palacios from AAA. He takes the roster spot of first base Carlos Santana, who was traded to Milwaukee. Cabrian Hayes had a full workout for the 2nd straight day. He began a rehab assignment at AAA on Tuesday, but he's been unable to play since then. Ji-Hwan Bae is expected to begin a rehab assignment early next week with Indianapolis, and tonight you get to see Aaron Nola against rookie Quinn Priester. He's 1-1 with a 9.28. Okay, so I didn't feel the need to look him up too much, but if you're interested in picking up a pitcher, this guy seems to be in the rotation. I don't know. He's got a 9.28 ERA, but it's important, to look at what he did in the minors too. Ohtani hit his Major League leading 39th home run before he left with leg cramps, and the Toronto Blue Jays slugged 3 solo homers, and they rallied to beat the Angels 4-1. The manager in this Angels game was pissed off, okay? You could see him yelling out there. Toronto ended the Angels' 4-game winning streak, and the Blue Jays began the day in the 3rd AL wildcard spot, 3 games ahead of the Angels. Los Angeles trails Boston and the Yankees in the postseason race. Isn't that interesting that the Yankees are in the what do you call it? The basement. They're in the basement of the American League East, and they're still ahead of the Angels for postseason race. Now, Giolito made his first start for the Angels. He allowed 3 runs and 6 hits, including 2 home runs allowed in 5 1/3. He only walked 1, and he struck out 5. And yes, he gave up a couple home runs, but he still had a decent outing for his first time out as an Angel. I'm reading the chat room. Hold on, Leonard. I'm doing the best I can. I wanted to take a sip of coffee. Gausman allowed 1 run and 5 hits in 6 innings, 6+ innings, to win for the first time since June 21st. He walked 3. He struck out 9. He has the most strikeouts in the American League, 171. He was greeted... Okay, Ohtani was greeted with a very loud ovation from the sellout crowd of 42,106. Ohtani homered on the first pitch he saw. He went deep in 3 straight at-bats over 2 games. He homered in consecutive games for the 9th time this season. He was lifted from the game because of cramping in both of his calves. Bill Nevin says that Ohtani's soreness developed after he grounded out to begin the 8th. But Thursday, Ohtani left the second game of a doubleheader at Detroit because of cramps. So, yet, he also threw a 1-hitter in the opener Thursday for his first career MLB shutout and then homered twice in the second game. Okay, you all already knew that, but it's worth mentioning again. After the game, an angry Phil Nevin was seen holding up a tablet computer and yelling at plate umpire Mike Estabrook as the crew left the field. He waited till after the game, and then he just unleashed on this guy. Matt Chapman, Danny Jansen, and Whit Merrifield homered, and the Blue Jays are 24-11 when they hit 2 or more home runs. Chapman, it was his 14th, and Jansen 14th. Bo Bichette hit an RBI double. What a great player Bo Bichette is. Not talked about enough. Also, Merrifield, this guy is not known for his homers. He got his 8th homer yesterday. He went 3 for 4 and has 6 home runs in his last 17 games. Yimi Garcia got his 3rd save in 6 chances. And today you get to see Ryu coming back. Oh no, he's starting on Tuesday. The Blue Jays are beginning a stretch of 17 games in 17 days. They started that on Friday, and Schneider said that Ryu will be part of a 6-man rotation, so nobody's losing their job right now. And Ryu will be back. He's going against Baltimore on Tuesday. George Springer came in. He was stuck in an 0-for-16 slump. He was dropped from the leadoff spot to the 5th in the lineup. He still finished 0-for-4, and Merrifield moved up to hit leadoff. That's great for guys that have Merrifield, including myself. Alek Manoah goes up against Reed Detmers today, and I will tell you this, if you want to just consider what's gone on this year alone, Reed Detmers is the better pitcher between Alek Manoah and Reed Detmers, and I was talking to Turd on Twitter the other day because Reed Detmers was one of Turd's. He found him. He found that this guy's velocity was up a very good amount, and because of that velocity increase, there was a good chance that Reed Detmers was going to have a great season. And no, he has not had a great season. Okay, but for what you paid for Detmers, and Turd pointed out he's very hard to keep in shallow leagues, right? And that's true. I mean, it all depends on how many teams are in your leagues. But Reed Detmers, I looked up his numbers because he continuously strikes out batter after batter after batter. He always strikes out more batters than innings pitched, and he goes at least 5 innings nearly every time he goes out there. I'm taking Reed Detmers against Alek Manoah today just because, even though his record is 2-7. Alek Manoah's is worse, 2-8. And by the way, Manoah's ERA is in the 6s, so there you go. Luis Robert Jr. and Jake Berger each homered last night. The White Sox beat the Guardians. Imagine that. You sell off 5 pitchers and then you win, okay? They beat the Cleveland Guardians within their division, too. They beat them 3-0 to snap a 6-game losing streak. Touki Toussaint got his first win, pitched 5 innings. He allowed just 3 hits. He walked 1 and struck out 4. Gregory Santos got his 2nd save of the season. The White Sox victory came on the tail end of a day in which it dealt pitchers Lynn, Kelly, and Graveman to continue a deadline selling spree. Oh boy, Priester is starting. I don't know what his minor league stats look like, but there you go. Okay. American East is the best league in baseball. I don't know. That could be, but I don't know. Coffee break for me. All right. We used to call it the cellar. That's right. That's what I was trying to think of. The cellar dwellers, Yankees, Stankies, whatever you want to call them. Okay? All right. I'm keep going now. Wow. I'm so grateful that all of you are here on a Saturday morning and we're having a great time in the chat room. I'm definitely going to finish on time today so I can peek over, and it's just nice to see. And Lenny, okay, you're going a little crazy on Luis Robert Jr., all right? He is not a number one pick. He definitely doesn't compare anywhere to Ohtani. So give me a break. Bo Bichette's better than him too, by the way. All right, you're allowed to your own opinion, right? All right. Robert hit his 29th homer. Isn't that funny? That was the next note on my list. Okay. After hitting 2 homers on Thursday, Jake Berger continued his hot stretch with his 25th homer. Josh Naylor had a double and 2 singles, accounting for half of the Guardians' 6 hits. The White Sox, Andrew Vaughn, missed a second consecutive game with bone bruise, but manager says he expects him to be back in the lineup today. Yoan Moncada. He took a day off after playing in 3 straight games since returning from the injured list on Tuesday. He will play today. Tonight, you get to see Logan Allen, and the White Sox have yet to determine a starter. They don't have any. That's why. Okay, they left themselves with the junk. Okay. Pete Alonso homered twice. All right, good job, Pete Alonso. He's the second player in Mets history with 4 30-homer seasons, and the Mets beat the Nationals 5-1, Laura and Mary. The Mets won their second straight in a little less than 24 hours after sending David Robertson to Miami. New York opened the season, we all know, with a record $343 million payroll, but they entered yesterday 7 games out of a wild card spot. As I mentioned earlier, Scherzer has a player option, not a team option, a player option worth $43.3 million for next season. He says he's going to have some discussions with Steve Cohen and the team's front office before Tuesday's deadline. Good luck with that, okay? Good luck. Alonso hit a 453-foot homer and a 423-foot homer. Those are huge. The second homer was the 30th of the season. And you know, the only season that Alonso has not reached 30 homers was during the pandemic-shortened 2020 season, and he would have hit 30 homers. He actually hit 16 in 57 games. So if you average that out over a full season, it's well over 30 homers. The 2-homer game was the second in the last 4 games for Alonso, so Alonso seems to be in a better mood lately. He had just 4 homers in the 30 games from June 7th through July 23rd. Scherzer carries a shutout into the 7th. Luis Garcia finished with 3 hits, including 2 off of Scherzer. He bats .545 against Scherzer. Mackenzie Gore gave up 3 runs in 5 innings. He tied a season high by walking 4 batters. Showalter said he wasn't sure who's going to replace Robertson as the Mets closer. They have Ottavino, 6 saves, Drew Smith, 2 saves, and Rayleigh, 2 saves. That combines for the only 10 saves that weren't earned by Robertson this year. Tonight you get to see Patrick Corbin against Carlos Carrasco. All right, the Major League leading Atlanta Braves snapped a 2-game skid with a 10-7 victory over the Brewers. The Braves' 36th sellout of the season, 42,502 in attendance. Think of that and compare that to any team, really. 42,000, their 36th sellout of the season. Boy, the fans love Braves. The game started 32 minutes late because of heavy rain, but it actually never rained there until the 7th inning. They got a little drizzle. The Braves were coming off 2 straight losses in Boston and had dropped 7 of their last 10, their worst 10-game stretch of the season. And the Brewers, they began the night with a 1.5-game lead in the National League Central. Adrian Hauser took the loss after allowing 8 hits and 6 runs in 4 innings. Colin McHugh gave up 1 hit in 1 1/3 innings. Albie singled in the go-ahead run in the 5th. Austin Riley and Matt Olson back-to-back homers. Acuna stole his 49th base. It's the most in the majors. Matt Olson has 33 homers and 82 RBIs, second most in the majors in both categories. Riley's 23rd homer gave the Braves 11 back-to-back home runs this season. Atlanta leads the majors with 191 homers. Riley has gone deep in 4 straight home games and has 5 homers over that span. Unholy says the Braves' best organization in baseball, have most of their top players under contract for multiple years. Absolutely. I don't agree that Alonso is a selfish player, but that's absolutely subjective. Marcelo Zuna, 19th homer. Raciel Iglesias, 19th save and 21 chances. Abraham Toro, 3-run homer. The Brewers manager Craig Counsell said that Brandon Woodruff would make a third rehab start after he allowed 1 run and 4 hits with 3 strikeouts in 4 innings Thursday at Single-A. And Braves Snicker says that Max Fried will make his 4th rehab start today for AAA Gwinnett. He was supposed to start Wednesday, but he's been dealing with some kind of stomach bug. He's on his way back, Max Fried. Tonight you get to see Julio Teheran against Bryce Elder. Bobby Witt Jr.'s grand slam in the 10th gave the Kansas City Royals an 8-5 victory over the Twins. It was the Royals' 13th comeback win of the season. Brady Singer struck out a season-high 10 in 5 innings. Kyle Isbell hit a leadoff 400-foot home run off a Twin starter, Sonny Gray, in the 3rd. It was the first home run allowed by Gray against the Royals since 2014. Gray did pitch 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts. He extended a 15-game winless streak dating back to April 30th. Sonny Gray has not won since April 30th. And that was against Kansas City, too. But Bobby Witt, 4 for 5, 6 RBIs, 17th homer. He had an RBI double in the 6th and a run-scoring single in the 8th. Nick Prado was placed on the 10-day injured list with a left groin strain. Samad Taylor recalled again, everybody. I know. Every time I see his name, I cringe. But he's a quickie. He will run fast. We know that. He just hasn't had enough time yet. All right, he was recalled, to replace Prado on the roster. The Twins activated Jorge Polanco from the 10-day injured list, and they also activated Dylan Floro, who was acquired in the trade a couple days ago. And tonight you get to see Jordan Lyles against Bailey Ober. I'm definitely taking Ober in this one. Tampa Bay Rays beat the Astros 4-3. The victory was just Tampa Bay's 3rd in the last 11 games and the team's 6th this month. McClanahan allowed 8 hits and 3 runs in 5 innings against Christian Javier, who 3 hits allowed and 3 runs with 8 strikeouts in 6 innings, but he remains winless since June 3rd. Brandon Lau hit a 3-run homer, and Jose Siri was the hero of this game. He doubled and scored the tie-breaking run. The game was tied entering the 9th when Siri doubled off of Ryan Presley. The Rays took a 4-3 lead when Siri scored on a sacrifice fly by Yandy Diaz. Pete Fairbanks, 13th save. Jose Abreu, 2-run homer. Altuve, triple and scored. Zach Eflin, he's dealing with left knee discomfort. He's still day-to-day after injuring his knee on Wednesday. Cash says they're hoping he can make his next start, but they'll know more in the next day or two. The Astros got Graveman. He will be, we already talked a lot about Graveman. He's back with the Astros. Okay, and tonight you get to see Taj Bradley against Hunter Brown. The Cubbies beat the Cardinals 3-2. The Cubbies have won 9 of 10 and their 7th straight win. It is their longest win streak since winning 7 in a row last September to October 2nd. The Cubs have won their last 5 straight in St. Louis, and they're 52-51. They moved over the 500 mark for the first time since May 6th. The St. Louis Cardinals have lost 3 out of their last 5. So that makes you wonder what's going to happen to Jordan Montgomery. He's a free agent at the end of the season. He's subject to trade rumors. He allowed 3 runs and 5 hits over 6 innings. Drew Smyly allowed 2 hits in 4 1/3 innings of relief. And our boy Adbert Alzolay, 12th save in 13 opportunities. Trey Mancini, tie-breaking RBI single. Lars Nootbaar homered twice. And Patrick Wisdom hit his team-high 18th home run. Yep, Tauchman saved the game with his glove. Who did he rob of a home run? It didn't say. Tommy Edman will begin a rehab assignment at AAA Memphis today. And tonight you get to see Adam Wainwright against Jameson Taillon. Oakland A's broke a 3-game losing streak with an 8-5 victory over the Rockies. A's pounded out 14 hits yesterday. They were 3-13 in their previous 16 games. The Rockies have now lost 3 in a row. Kyle Freeland was activated from the injury list before the game. He gave up 9 hits and 5 runs, 3 earned in his first start since July 9th. He struck out 3 and hit a batter. J.P. Sears won for the second time this season. 4 hits allowed, including a homer to Randall Grichuk. He struck out 5 and walked 1 in 5 innings. A's starting pitchers are 10 and 47. Goodbye, Eddie. Thanks for coming by. We'll see you tomorrow if you can. Otherwise, we'll see you Monday. Ramon Laureano and Zach Gelof. I don't know how to say his name.
Gelof, that's good.
Gelof?
Yeah.
Shea Langoliers had a double, a triple, and scored twice. Tony Kemp had 2 doubles. Gelof has 10 hits, 7 of them for extra bases since he was recalled from AAA Las Vegas on July 14th. He's reached base 10 of his 12 games. Esteury Ruiz was 1 for 2 with a triple and a throwing error in 5 innings in his first rehab game at AAA Las Vegas. There is no timeline for his return yet, but he does lead the American League with 43 stolen bases. Brendan Rodgers homered for AAA Albuquerque. He's made 33 plate appearances on his rehab assignment. The Rockies have set 40 and 50 as a benchmark, 40 to 50 plate appearances before they'll let him come back. So he's at 33 now. He should be back soon. Tonight you get to see Chris Flexen against Paul Blackburn. The Mariners beat the skidding Arizona Diamondbacks 5-2. Nobody seems to completely be sure if the Mariners will be buyers or sellers, okay? Not even inside their own clubhouse. They've won 3 straight and are 8-6 since the All-Star break. They have not been more than 3 games above 500 or 4 games below that mark, and right now they're sitting at 53-50. Arizona has a 6-15 record in July, falling to 55-49 overall. Logan Gilbert threw 6 1/3 innings, gave up 2 runs on 9 hits, struck out 5 and walked nobody. And Tommy Henry gave up 4 runs in the first, but he lasted 6 innings, 4 runs on 6 hits over 6 innings, while walking 1 and striking out 6. Cal Raleigh and Tom Murphy hit back-to-back 2-run doubles, and Paul Sewald 21st save, which broke his career high of 20 set last season. Julio Rodriguez had 2 hits, including a double, and added a stolen base. Ketel Marte had 3 hits. Tonight is Brandon Pfaadt against Brian Wu. It's pretty sad when Patrick Wisdom leads your team in home runs. That's from the resident Cubby fan. San Diego beat the American League West leading Texas Rangers 7-1. The Rangers lost for the 5th time in 7 games, but kept a 2-game lead over Houston Astros. Joe Musgrove pitched 6 innings, won for the 9th time in 10 decisions by holding Texas to 4 hits, struck out 5, and walked 2. Tatis homered, it was his 18th homer of the season, and the Padres also got RBIs from Juan Soto, Manny Machado, and Gary Sanchez. 3 Rangers prospects made their professional debut with ACL. Wyatt Langford, the 4th overall pick in this year's draft, started in left and batted third. First baseman Anthony Calarco, undrafted free agent, and we also have second base Devin Hurdle, undrafted free agent, and right fielder Quincy Scott, drafted in the 9th round. The Rangers placed catcher Jonah Heim on the 10-day injured list with a strained tendon in his left wrist. He came out of the game on Wednesday after hurting his wrist on an awkward swing in the 4th inning, and Mitch Garver started last night. Soto was removed for a pinch hitter in the 8th. He's being bothered by a finger injury. It's been going on since spring training, and the Padres are waiting results of an MRI. Kim, the second baseman, also came out after tweaking his back on a slide, and Melvin says there's a good chance that Soto and Kim will be in the lineup tonight. Machado, excellent defense. Macho Manny doing what he does. Martin Perez and Yu Darvish tonight. The Reds beat the Dodgers 6-5, and the Reds moved within a half game of the first place Milwaukee Brewers in the NL Central. Cincinnati, another team with great defense. They turned 3 double plays to back pitcher Brandon Williamson, who allowed 2 runs and 8 hits and 5 2/3, struck out 2 and walked 4. Alexis Diaz got 4 outs to earn his 31st save. Jake Fraley, 2-run homer. Spencer Steer, solo homer. And Ahmed Rosario went 2 for 4 in his Dodgers debut. He had an RBI single. The Reds got to rookie pitcher Bobby Miller in a shaky first, but he settled in and he gave up 3 runs and 6 hits in 5 innings. He also struck out 6 and did not walk anyone for the second straight outing. So there's a bright spot for you Dodger fans. J.D. Martinez, 2-out RBI double. Clayton Kershaw will throw a simulated game today, and Reds manager David Bell received a 3-year contract extension through 2026 before the game. He was rewarded for helping engineer a turnaround in Cincinnati, and the Reds are trying to become the first team in Major League history to win a division title after losing at least 100 games in the previous season. Tonight you get to see Luke Weaver against Emmett Sheehan. The Red Sox beat the Giants 3-2. It was their 5th straight win. Boston is now 9 games over 500 at 56-47. They began a grueling stretch of 32 games in 34 days. Cutter Crawford surrendered only Michael Conforto's RBI single in the 6th. Logan Webb struck out 7, walked 1, allowed 1 run on 3 hits over 5 2/3. Tristan Casas was moved up in the batting order. He homered and hit an RBI double. It was his 16th homer of the season. Justin Turner played second base for just the 9th time this season, and he was booed at every chance by Giants fans because he used to be a Dodger. Okay? He's not even a Dodger anymore, and they still booed the crap out of him. Jock Peterson homered. Kenley Jansen, the 4th Red Sox reliever, worked a 1-2-3 ninth for his 23rd save. Giants prospect Marco Luciano singled for his first Major League hit after being called up on Wednesday. His parents flew in from the Dominican Republic and got to see. Chris Sale came out of his live batting practice throwing session well and is likely to begin a rehab assignment on Tuesday. Reese McGuire will catch back-to-back 9-inning rehab games today and tomorrow with the hope he will join the Red Sox next week. Trevor Story is not ready to join the team on this road trip, but it seems that he's getting close. That's my opinion. Brandon Crawford didn't come off the injured list as he aimed to. It was he went through an extensive workout to test his inflamed left knee. Yesterday was the first day he was eligible to come off. And tonight you get to see James Paxton against, we don't know, because San Francisco had not announced, but we do pretty surely know it's an opener. Thank you to everybody for joining me today. It's just a fun time talking baseball in the chat room. We will see you tomorrow, Lady and the Legend, and then Lenny can boss me around then. But for now, Leonard, do you have any parting words for our friends?
Love you all.
Love you all. Everybody, thanks for coming.